as the stream is going, so we're just stuck with it. That sucks. Apparently, when you create the stream inside stream restream, for some reason it creates it as normal latency, and you have to go in and change it manually. That's just irritating. But that's okay. My irritation will be just slightly, whatever. I've got my oatmeal protein shake, 1 cup of oatmeal, 1 scoop of protein, a little bit of milk powder for flavor. Breakfast of champions, man. Who I think gets on the stand today? Well, I think we're still with the lieutenant. But I think Proctor has to get on the stand sooner rather than later. He's just poison. But you got to draw the sting. You got to draw the sting. And probably sooner is better than later. The only other alternative is to try to put him in the middle of the stupid. I don't know that necessarily gets you anywhere. But the only other thing that makes sense is you consider the entire range of the stupid. Because this is the stupid phase. This is the shit. This is the shit of the shit sandwich, right? We've talked about this before, right? Primacy and recency. So you want to start strong, you want to end strong. So this Commonwealth started strong. I know a lot of you guys disagree, but I think they started strong. They started strong. Presumably they're going to end strong. They're probably going to end with aperture is probably how they're going to end, trying to prove the like physics of it. So that's sort of the cap of it. And then in the middle is all the stupid, which is the investigation. All right, so then how do you deal with Proctor in terms of that? So you could kind of do the primacy recency thing, right? The story within the story. So you try to start strong within the scope of the stupid. So assuming that's what you're trying to do, then presumably the lieutenant is your best witness of the stupid, which might in fact be true. He might be the best witness of the stupid, which says a lot. So maybe that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do primacy and recency within the scope of the stupid. So within the scope of the middle of the shit sandwich, we're trying to do a mini sandwich. So under that theory, then you would put Proctor somewhere in the middle of the middle. So that's the only other way this makes any sense. Because last time they put Proctor basically last. And I don't think that was the way to go. So I think you have to call Proctor sooner than later. And I don't see how you don't call Proctor. I don't see how you can't call him. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And then some people are like, well, can he plead the fifth? Like maybe in principle, possibly, but even if he could, he'd be an unavailable witness and you could read in his testimony from the last trial. So you can't avoid Proctor because you could just have his entire testimony read into the record, which would take 3 days or something, but you could do it. Maybe if you ask really nicely, you can replay the video of him at the last trial. That'd be good. I'm glad you like your mug, Gail. I'm glad that makes you happy. We do try to make you guys happy. And for whatever it's worth, I do discount the price a little bit, even off the recommended suggestion. I know the prices are a little high, but it is as-made merch. So they have to make each one individually, so you don't get like bulk discounts. If we had 10,000 of them sitting in a warehouse, we could sell them cheaper. But since they're made as they're needed, they're a little bit more expensive. But we did discount them from the suggested price to make them a little bit cheaper because we're not out to gouge you guys. We love you guys. I was watching retired detectives lose their mind over this guy. Oh, I can't remember. If you were watching retired detectives lose their mind over that guy. Oh my God, they are not prepared for what comes next. They are not prepared for what comes next. Yeah, you have to tell them. You have to warn them. You have to tell your detective friends, guys, if you thought the lieutenant was stupid. Your soul is not prepared. I need you to steel yourselves. I need you to steel yourselves. You may be used to seeing a lot of crime scenes and, blood and bodies. You might be used to seeing a lot of bullshit, but you're not used to seeing this kind of bullshit. This will be shocking. This will be a little bit like that very first time you ever went to a murder scene. Right? The very first time you ever went to a murder scene, it was a little shocking, wasn't it? And then after a while you kind of got used to it. Yeah, it's kind of like that all over again. You are not prepared. You think you're prepared. You think you're prepared from your 20 years of being a detective experience. You are not prepared. If your detective friends are already like rolling their eyes in the back of their head, you better have an optometrist on speed dial, man. Because the stupid has levels that your friends are not prepared for. Their souls are simply not prepared. We need to get some former detectives on stream. We do have that one former detective that I know. Maybe we can send him a link while we're at it. Let's see if he wants to join me. Yeah, Detective Seeds. Let's see if he wants to join me. Do you want to join me for the Karen Reed stream for a while? The stupid relating to the police is so real on levels that are beyond comprehension, and a detective view of the stupid might be fun. Lol. I crack myself up in the morning. When the leaf blower and solo cups came up, your 11-year-old said that's stupid. Yeah, see, the 11-year-old knows the stupid. The 11-year-old is aware of the stupid. As has been commented, like relating to, for example, the Celebrate guy with his experiments, as has been commented, we've seen there are middle schoolers who have better scientific management techniques than that. There are middle schoolers who can do a better job and have done a better job. I mean, for a middle schooler, it would be more advanced, for a middle schooler. But, there's some pretty sharp middle schoolers out there who could probably do better than the Celebrate guy with his experiments. We definitely need some other cops on here. So if you know other cops who might want to join the stream, let me know. Maybe we could get some FBI in here. That'd be good. FBI, so what do you think about this stupid? It's pretty stupid. Thanks, FBI. Is this the stupidest thing you've ever seen in your career? I don't know. Yeah, some of the things that Texas. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me either way. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the stupidest thing they've ever seen in their career. It wouldn't surprise me if it's not. Detectives and police have to see a lot of stupid, although they're used to seeing stupid from the criminals. Maybe less so from law enforcement. So I have to clarify the question: is this the stupidest you've seen from law enforcement? Maybe that's a more precise question. Yeah, if any of my mods want to help me, like, see if we can get some former detectives on or crime scene investigators, CSI people. So, how often do you use solo cups? They have to be willing to accept questions like, so how often do you use solo cups in your investigation? What model of leaf blower have you found to be personally most useful to you in your work? So, as long as they're willing to tolerate questions like that, then we can get along fine. On a scale of 1 to bullshit, what do you think of this case? On a scale of Fisher Price, my first investigation, to professional, where are we?
Please be seated. Court is in session. All right, so I was told council wanted to see me.
Of course they do.
Okay.
Yeah, no surprises there. Of course. Yeah, sidebar immediately. The under 1 second sidebar is incredibly fun and real. Yeah, it's a craft bag. It's basically the same. Yeah, it's basically the same. The bag that they use for evidence, and the bag they use from a Stop and Shop is basically the same. First of all, how do you know that? On a technical level, how do you know that? How do you know what material? I mean, I know it's a little pedantic, but maybe it's not that pedantic. How do you know what the paper bag made at Stop and Shop and the paper bags that are used for evidence collection? How do you know what the paper is made out of? Do you work for like International Paper or something like that? Incidentally, I worked for International Paper for a little while in IT, when I was doing internships. So I probably have more experience with paper than some of these guys, which isn't to say that I know anything, but I still have more experience with this because I worked for International Paper for two summers.